is our time. LOTL Lounge where we always shine. Come on in.
You are listening to the LOTL Lounge. I'm Silke and I'm excited today to announce the relaunch of LOTL and LOTL.com, where you will hear lesbian and queer voices in a new format, but with the same heart. Think of it like an audio magazine, a mix of content from music, sport, community, and stories that shape us. Today, we start off with a great mix. We dive into drag king culture, lived experience, comedy, and the latest in women's sport. And don't forget about LOTL.com that's been relaunched today. There you will always find the latest podcast, the newest blogs, and a full collection of all LOTL magazines over the last 35 years digitized. So let's dive in. When we announced the relaunch of LOTL, the response was overwhelming. Messages of support, excitement and love of the community. But alongside that came messages of concern, and most of them centered around one thing: language. Should we say lesbian? Should we say queer? What do we keep? What do we evolve? And how do we honor everyone? The concern was strong enough that we created a language statement, just to make sure contributors understand the sensitivity around these terms. One comment on social media really stood out to me. Inclusivity was the death of us lesbians. Do you agree with that sentiment? Leave us a message. We'll play your thoughts in our next episode. This isn't a one-sided conversation. Many women on Facebook tell us they fought hard for visibility and they want the word lesbian spoken loudly and proudly. Meanwhile, a younger generation on TikTok and Instagram tells us they don't identify with labels at all, and if they do, they prefer queer. We know we can't please everyone, but we can listen. And that's why I want to open this conversation to you, our listeners. We take this seriously. So seriously that we've updated all our copy on LOTL.com to reflect both identities. We now refer to our audience as lesbian and queer, acknowledging our elders who lived through invisibility and celebrating the new generation who feels free to define themselves on their own terms. Let's keep this conversation open. Leave us a voice message to be featured in our next episode. The link is in the show notes. Or email us at podcast@lotl.com. I may not get to every message, but we'll select a few to share with the community. I'm genuinely looking forward to hearing your thoughts and opening this dialogue together. Now let's get started with the show. Today I start the show off with introducing a new column on LOTL.com. This regular blog is curated by Nash and it's called The Drag King Corner. It will look at the history and the art history of the incredible cultural significance of the drag kings for our community. Nash has lived and championed king culture for more than 25 years. I spoke to Nash to find out what inspired her to write this new column for LOTL, what stories she is intending to share, and why drag king culture deserves more visibility. Let's take a listen. So Nash, I'd like to know what inspired you to start writing the Drag King Corner, and what is it we can expect? And why do you think it's the right time for a regular Drag King column?
Young the drag king cult is. Like, if you look at male theatrical drag performers, they've had over a 2,000-year head start, whereas female performers simply haven't. As for misunderstood, I think some people are still wary of drag kings, whereas I see it as more of a celebration of the power of queer women. You know, you look at their king artistry, their creations, their commentary, and we get to look behind the confinements of the straight world we occupy.
Tell us what the readers can expect from your column. Is it going to be a mix of everything?
It's going to be a complete mix of everything. I mean, drag kings live beyond the stage. They live in rehearsal rooms. They live in art studios. They live in artwork. I'm obsessed with drag kings and being a king, and I just want to share that joy and excitement and knowledge with the readers.
I'm sure that will come through and in the blog. And how do you see drag king culture evolving in Australia right now? And what voices or stories are you most excited to bring forward?
The craft and culture in Australia right now, it's just going from strength to strength, which is mind-blowing for me, who has, you know, such a long-lived history within the culture and the craft. As for these three voices and story I'm most excited to bring forward, I'm going to say that it's too hard to narrow down right now. And people are just going to have to start and continue to read the Drag King Corner column to find out.
So, Nash, tell us about Dragos. How does that character fit into your creative journey, and what does Dragos mean to you?
Dragos is a very, very new character that recently arrived. I'm currently working on the physicality of the character. They've given me freedom to take risks I haven't been brave enough to take before. And this character sits better within the different artistic projects I'm working on, which I struggled to do with my previous character. It just didn't fit and didn't translate what I was exploring artistically. It's definitely brought a spark and an extra bounce to my step. And at the end of the day, I'm just extremely lucky to be able to share this creative journey with everyone.
I'm really excited to have the Drag King Corner as part of the new LOTL.com. Make sure to check it out. The link is in the show notes. Thank you, Nash. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I just don't like. I just don't like to be serious, and baby, it seems like you care just by a vision. We so different, but something we have found, we have special secret. I like you like me, and this is what we got. Oh, I got you. Oh, you got me. Oh, how could you live so long without me? Oh, you got me. Oh, I got you. Oh, how could I live so long without you? We're so different. There's something we have found, but something we have found. We have a special secret. I like you, you like me, and this is what we've got. Oh, I got you. Oh, you got me. Oh, how could you live so long without me? Oh, you got me. Oh, I got you. Oh, how could I live so long without you?
Now we're shifting into lived experience, one of my favorite parts of the show. These are the stories that shape who we are as a community. And today's guest, Diana, has lived through eras of lesbian life many of us have only ever heard about. When we sat down together, she told me how placing an advert in the LOTL personals changed her life, how she ended up drumming with the feral fingers, and the woman who made such an impact on her that she changed her last name to Wilde. Let's get into it. You have a lot of lived experience to share with our audience. When you first placed an advertisement with the LOTL personals, I'd like to explain what the LOTL personals were. It was a section in the back of the magazine where women could write in a short description about themselves and who they would like to meet. Then people could reply to that advertisement with sending in a small envelope with a $5 note, and the LOTL office would then forward that on. It was way before, online dating. You placed an ad in with the LOTL personals. What happened?
It's 30 years now this August, and I put the letter in LOTL. It changed my life because I had not accepted my sexuality the whole time I was growing up. Because I grew up in the 50s. I met some amazing people. I met women who became friends, but I also met a woman who I became involved with for about 6 years. It literally changed me, and I am the person I am today because of putting that letter in the magazine.
And was really interesting, you said it's not only that you met a partner. I actually did hear that a few times as well. A lot of people, they made lifelong friends.
Yes. The first woman I met she said to me, I really like you, I'm not attracted to you. And we ended up singing the Messiah at the church in Macquarie Street. So she actually talked me into doing that, and we were good friends for a long time.
That's just beautiful what the personals were able to contribute to the community back then.
Yes, probably safer than what we have today. I've been online as well back in 23, and it's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. This really worked well, and I've still got a few letters that I received. Yeah, I've still got a few of them.
That's amazing. Let's enter the Newtown lesbian community, because back then when you placed a personal with LOTL, were you in Sydney, Newtown?
No, I was in the western suburbs of Sydney. I was in a very anti-gay area, and I only was game enough to do it because I was studying to go back to university. I was dared to put the ad in. I was too scared to be who I really was in the western suburbs of Sydney. I grew up in Earlwood, so I knew Newtown, and I knew that there was a lesbian space down there, and also the woman I met lived in Gully Hill. I would drive all the way from a place called Greystanes, which is near Parramatta, and I'd travel all the way by car to meet her and spend time with her, and I also decided I'd go to the lesbian space.
Tell us a little bit about the lesbian space. What year was that? It was sometime in the 90s?
This would be 1996, and I was still involved with them until it ended. I would be there all the time, learning to drum. It was a great community.
Talking about the drumming, because I guess my question was, how did the lesbian community back in Sydney shape you the way you are now? And one of very important influence was a lady you met, Liz Island. Liz Island, she was involved with drumming. What happened with you and you being introduced to drumming and the Lesbian Space Project? That all shaped you where you went after, right?
Oh, yes. Well, I walked in and Liz was painting the walls. I remember vividly. And there'd be women alive still today who would remember that too. I'm still in touch with quite a few of the girls. She just said to me, would you like to drum? And I thought she meant a drum kit. I had grown up where we weren't allowed to make a lot of noise, but I absolutely loved music and loved playing music loudly. And I said yes. And it turned out there were other women there who wanted to drum and learn to play djembe. And then she dragged me to a Mardi Gras. No, in March 97, she dragged me along, and I was so scared that my mother was going to see me on television.
And at Mardi Gras, did you at this stage drum as the feral fingers, or when did the feral fingers come in?
No, we didn't. We didn't have a name. We drummed. I think they were called the Lemons or something like that. But I had this huge, it was like a very large drum that was strapped to me, and I remember my hands were nearly raw by the time I finished because we were just drumming madly. But no, feral fingers came later. We used to all go over to Liz's place in Haberfield, and we'd sit around the fire and we were trying to figure out a name for our drumming group. And I wanted Sticky Fingers. I was held down and they decided on Feral Fingers. I think we marched once with the Feral Fingers, but Liz wanted to she was in Dykes on Bikes, and she wanted to ride with them in 1998. And she talked me into actually organising the march. So I did that in 1998. When I was at university, we actually did a jam at Macquarie University. There used to be a women's room there. We also played in a lot of marches. We would drum in a lot of marches like Reclaim the Night and International Women's Day.
How did drumming shape your identity? What's the feedback from other women? I'm not a drummer, so I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the reason I changed my name. I didn't have that name, but drumming was just like we'd go to Winter Magic in the Blue Mountains because I moved there in 2003, and we were going to the Blue Mountains anyway We went to women's gatherings down the South Coast. We went to all sorts of places together. It was like a community. And I was still drumming when I moved. I haven't drummed here in Geraldton, but I have gone to, they've got drumming groups here, and I have joined in a few times, but I'm more into my writing now. I don't do, because it's quite physically demanding as well. I've still got my drum. I've got a couple of drums, but I was teaching drumming when I lived in the Blue Mountains. So it's just an amazing connection with other people. I've been involved with huge drum jams in Mardi Gras as well as in Winter Magic up in the Blue Mountains.
It's so important when you're coming out and that you find your community, you find your tribe.
Yes.
And I guess something like this, there could be singing in the choir or joining a drumming group, whatever it might be, really creates that community that we're all looking for. This was a really important part of your life, coming out, finding that identity, finding your community. She passed away and that changed your life again. You changed your name after that.
She passed away on the 3rd of March, 2011. She was riding her motorbike. She was riding that to a practice session for Dykes on Bikes. From what I can remember, she was hit by a bus. We were all totally devastated. And she used to say and yell out, "Go Wilde Diana," and stuff like that. So she gave me the name. So we had her memorial service at Rookwood Cemetery at the crematorium, and we all still kept in touch. But I felt that I had to change my name. I was later found out a few months after I changed my name that I was adopted at birth. So I've ended up now I've got 4 names. I've got a birth name, I've got a married name, I've got a name that I was given at birth by my adopted parents, and now I've got Diana Wilde. And I'm glad I did it because it was in honour of Les, and it was also just prior to being told I was adopted. She's probably up there looking down.
Finding out that you were 64?
I was 64.
Or when you adopted, that would have again shaped your identity. No wonder that you started writing your memoir.
I wrote a book. I had a box of letters that my adopted mother and I wrote when I was overseas. I didn't get on at all with my adopted mother, but I did have an amazing dad who was just wonderful. He would have totally accepted me as I was, but he died in 1984. And my mother lived until 2009. When I came out, it took me another 10 years before I could tell her I was gay. And I couldn't even tell her I was a lesbian. I had to say gay. I really wrote the first book, I Don't Wear Steppins Anymore, because that was from the letters that she had written. And by writing it, I came to terms with realising she really cared for me, even though she couldn't communicate with me. It was very important. And now I'm doing the book about coming out. It's taken me this long, 30 years. And I think it's amazing how I found the letter, and it's still, the anniversary is coming up in August. I think that's quite astounding that it's taken me 30 years to really write the story.
You've lived across many places. You lived in Newtown, in the Blue Mountains, and now you're in WA in Geraldton. As an older lesbian, are you out in your regional town? Are you?
Yes, yes, I am. Geraldton, when I first came here in 2019, I didn't feel comfortable at all. I didn't feel like I have a tribe here, where I do in the Blue Mountains still, because I visit there regularly and I see all my gay friends. But here, things have changed. We had a visit from the Christian lobby back in 2021, I think it was, and I literally went back into the closet. I went to a meeting at the council because I was against them preaching their anti-everything, like especially transgender and other anti-lesbian and gay. We had a big demonstration outside the theatre that they were going to speak at, and I couldn't bring myself to go there. I was so traumatised by it. But now we have a very fabulous gay writer who, Holden Shepherd, he has written books about him coming out in Geraldton, and one of them's been made into a television series.
Talking about you are now 78. What do you wish younger lesbians would understand about aging?
Well, it's hard. I really don't feel old inside, but of course our body starts to break down and we just have to deal with it and not worry about it. I just think if you're young, that you follow your heart and you follow your gut, especially, because that's what I didn't do. I grew up pleasing my mother. I grew up in an area where John Howard, I went to the same primary school as John Howard. So it was a very conservative childhood. Christian, was very, Church of England. I'm glad I've had that upbringing because I've learnt to, look after people who are less fortunate. But still, it's this not willing to accept different types of people. That's what I would say to young people.
100%, I agree with you. And I guess that was my last question today was if you could speak to women who especially come out later in life, because this is what you experienced as well. What is it you would want her to know? But I guess you just said it, just, follow your heart.
I'm in a group on Facebook about older lesbians. There's the Owls. I would say to join groups and to meet other like-minded people. That would be another one. Don't do it on your own. I mean, I went down and from the western suburbs to the lesbian space. You've got to be game to do those sort of things and reach out to other people.
I think you got to find what you are interested in or what draws you.
Yes.
As we mentioned earlier, it might be bushwalking, drumming, might be singing, might be reading books, join a book club.
That's right.
And do that within your community.
Well, that's what I did when I moved up to the Blue Mountains. I went to the Women's Health Centre and I actually helped run a community group for gay women up there. And they had bushwalking groups. I'm still in touch with a lot of those people and on Facebook. And when I go back, I meet up with those friends. So they can be lifelong.
Diana, thank you so much for the conversation today. I really think it's wonderful to hear one's lived experience throughout a lifespan of discovering your identity and moving through different times and connections with people. I think it's so important to find out that, you're not alone. Thank you so much for sharing it.
It's been wonderful.
Take a leap, find a new way. Don't just leave, make a break for it. It's time to leave. We've got today. Ride on the freeway. It's all what you make it. Take that leap. Take the long way. If we sleep, dream the new day. It's time to leave. We've got today. Ride on the freeway. It's all what you make it. It's time to leave. We've got today. Ride on the freeway. It's all what you make it. 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 It's all what you make it.
G'day, everybody. Hello, I'm Rosie Burgess.
And I'm Sam Lowe's.
And we are the Tuck Shop Ladies.
Yep.
I guess we're kind of older lesbians now. When we were young, and I'm going to say we, even though you're super much older than me.
If you weren't so far over on the couch, I'd probably whack you.
When we were young, queer stuff just wasn't cool. There were these two old ladies that lived in my street.
Mm-hmm.
and we knew they were lesbians and they looked like super old. Probably they were like our age.
They're probably old lesbian ladies. But were they called the lesbians down the street? You know what I mean? Like referred to.
Yeah.
Are we called the lesbians?
I
on
know,
the street?
exactly. I don't know. I can't remember what we called them, but we knew they were lesbians. I don't know if we knew the word lesbian at the time, but we knew they were the ladies.
The ladies that were together.
They were together, and one of them was very, very grumpy. So she gave them a bad rep as a couple, I think.
I think that'd be me.
Yes, or me. So I'm just tracking back. It seems to me that like being queer when we were young, it just wasn't cool in the way that it is now. Although I will say, I still don't think the word lesbian has been embraced in the same way that queer has, right? Like it's cool to say that you're queer.
Yep.
I just don't think that people have the same kind of, oh, you're lesbian, cool.
Yes, I would never. Yeah, but I also wouldn't say just to a random, like a client at work, if I was, going blah, blah, and then I could see the moment they clicked over that they knew.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd go,
lesbian.
Oh, yeah, I'm lesbian. Not even art lesbian, but I'm lesbian.
I'm lesbian.
I think saying I'm lesbian.
Well, you probably wouldn't either say I'm queer.
No, but I'm just, I just trying to think of the words that are still a bit sort of.
No, I think at this point we still just wait for people to fill in the dots. You got sick.
I'd say partner.
Yeah, you got sick and I got mad because every time I had to come into the hospital to see you while you were sick, I had to say, my partner is here. Can you let me through, please? And I realized afterwards what I should have said was,
my long life lesbian partner.
My lifelong lesbian lover is in room 11. I feel like I set myself up for it, but I also set them up for it.
Yeah.
And so then we had this kind of grouchy encounter by about the fourth time when they said, what's his name? And I went, she.
If you had your time again, would you have chosen different clothing to go to the hospital in? Like just to really lesbian it up and just go, right. So that they could just look at you and go, oh, she doesn't mean partner. She means lesbian.
Yeah. So what? I should have shaved my head and come in looking like Tank Girl.
Yeah, and played like an Ani DeVanco song on the way through.
I should have had a boombox.
Come in singing Closer to Fine, and he would be like,
closer I am to find. Look, I'm here to see my lifelong lesbian love.
Yes, they are Doc Martens. Yes, they are Doc Martens. I'm wearing one Doc Marten and one.
My bandana. Yeah. It was.
I'm sorry, I can't get the forms out. My tool belt's in the way.
We recently played at a festival where there was this super cool, I guess, queer kind of music functions and events and stuff in the music festival. We've never played at a music festival before where there's this kind of extra element, queer events in the middle of this music festival.
Yeah.
We were struck by how seriously cool everybody was.
We were not cool.
We were not cool.
We got in and out.
We were far too overdressed as well, right? Like I feel that,
as in clothing wise,
we just had a lot of clothes
wearing
on.
like 3-piece suits. We just had more clothes on than they did.
So I think the point I want to ask you is, does that mean like lesbians just aren't cool, but queer people are, and it's always been like that? Or are we not cool and that's just our cross to bear? Or
are you saying if we stop thinking of ourselves as lesbian and queer, we might just turn cool?
Yeah, well, maybe if we became queer, we'd be cool rather than if we were lesbian.
Mm-hmm. So much to think about.
There's so much to think about. But I do think our life just in general probably precludes us from being cool. Because
without a doubt,
we do is we
don't go out.
We drive George to footy training. We make soup. We walk the dog. I don't even like soup.
I know. And
you make mashed potato.
We have friends that come down from other places that come to the big city and say, hey, what would you recommend? Where would you recommend we go if we want to go out and stuff? And we're like, Chadstone.
But I do think just in general, what was super fun? What I really liked when we did the show, A Day in the Life of a Lesbian Bank Robber.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was cool. And what was cool about it is how many times just general people had to say the word lesbian.
Yeah. I really feel like the word lesbian needs to be reclaimed and made cool because what was fun about that? So what I really loved was how, because the ticket desk So when people arrived at the show, they had to introduce themselves and say, hi, I've got 2 tickets to see, because there were a lot of shows on in the same building at the same time, right? Yep. So they had to go, I've got 2 tickets to see a day in the life of a lesbian bank robber.
Yep.
The green room, strangely situated right behind the ticket desk.
Yes, and the walls paper thin.
It was just one of those, like those slat things.
Yeah, so you could see out, but you couldn't see in.
Yeah, but we could hear everything they said. And most people came up and went, I'm here to see the lesbians.
Like that, yeah, like that old, there's like a 160-year-old guy just came by himself.
Yeah.
I'm here to see the lesbian show.
Yeah.
And he comes on in, and we're waiting to see if he had someone helping him or some person he was with, and grand niece that he came with. No, came by himself.
I wonder if he was like seriously disappointed.
No, I saw him afterwards.
Yeah.
He came past, but he did come past and just pointed his cane and said, good show.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What's just struck me as we were talking then is I wonder if, because as a society, we don't tend to think of old people as very cool.
No, I've had the same strucken thought.
You've been strucken by that thought too.
Yeah, just then I was thinking, it's just that we're old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just was thinking, because maybe when we were doing that thing, it's not because we were lesbians and not queer, right? It's just because we were
I had the same thought. We're just old. We're just old. And
it's not like we're 103 or anything, and we don't look old.
No, I feel like I'm still kind of cool and I'm still kind of hip and
the way you're pointing that pen at me right now is making me feel like you really mean what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I do mean it. I mean it when I'm pointing my pen at you.
Yep. That's it from us today.
Yes, sayonara.
I think that'll do.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's enough out of you.
Touch up ladies out.
These were the Tuck Shop Ladies, also a regular segment on LOTL Lounge. Make sure to check out our show notes for the link to find out more. After the break, we'll have a little surprise for all the footy fans out there. It's the season of the NRLW just started last weekend. Make sure to hang around.
This Sunday, the Flying Bats Football Club is hosting their second annual Pride Round, and you're invited. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Morrison Bay Park in Putney, the Bats are celebrating everything that makes our community shine. Pride, inclusion, belonging, and the joy of playing as your true self. Expect back-to-back matches, a barbecue, bake sale, a gorgeous Pride mural, merch, trophies, and fan activities, all wrapped in that unmistakable Flying Bats spirit. If you want to be part of a day filled with fun, football and queer community, head to their Instagram page, Flying Bats FC, for all the details.
Next up, League from the Lounge with Jo Barrett.
Welcome to League from the Lounge. I'm Jo Barrett, and this is a wrap on the NRLW competition that has just got started. The 2026 season is officially here, and what a way to start. In its 9th year of existence, we've gone from 4 teams in 2018 to 12. The comp continues to grow from strength to strength, and the next phase is looking to consolidate the depth and consistency across all teams. While there are still some clear standouts in terms of competition favourites, there is evidence of growth and development across all clubs involved. One thing I hadn't anticipated and certainly wasn't expecting was the amount of sin bin penalties across the board. It felt like discipline was the early season hurdle evident in most games and possibly speaks to the lack of week in, week out football these athletes have prior to round one. But while the discipline was shaky, the sheer strength of heavyweights remains undeniable. Despite the incredible work going on behind the scenes to close the gap, round one suggested that the Brisbane Broncos and the Sydney Roosters are still ahead and shoulders above the rest, with the Warriors not far behind. They've built systems that seem almost impossible to rattle, and for every improvement, teams seem to make the Roosters and the Broncos stretch themselves even further. 3 things I noticed. Number 1, the Tigers' new era. A feature of the opening round for me was the West Tigers' convincing win over the Parramatta Eels. The Eels came out fired up to chase the lead down in the second half, but it just wasn't enough to reel them in. The catalyst here was Racine McGregor. Her transfer from the Dragons signalled a new era of change for the club that has been wooden spooners for 2 seasons in a row. There was significant pressure on her to perform in this new system, and the former Dally M winner and New Zealand international certainly delivered. The Warriors' solid return. It was fantastic to see the Warriors secure a home victory to start their 2026 season. With so many changes to their squad this year, bringing in physical powerhouses like Nele Hufanga and Aneta Nuasala, they looked imposing across the park. But what really caught my eye was Gail Broughton. In her transfer from the Broncos, she already looks well and truly at home in that Warriors jersey. The consistency across the board of the Warriors made it hard to pick a standout player. Such was their strength and impressive team effort. And number 3, Canberra fulfilling potential. The Raiders also got off to a heartening start at home with a 24 win over the Dragons. In previous seasons, they haven't quite lived up to their potential, often losing those close but not close enough games. This time, they looked far more composed. Halfback Sahara Temera led from the front and captain Samaima Taufa really stood up when it was needed. One player I kept coming back to was Tegan Levi for the Titans. There was plenty of hype surrounding her transition from rugby, and she certainly lived up to it, producing a brilliant individual try against the Roosters that showcased exactly why there was so much excitement around her arrival. And while we're on the Roosters, Taryn Aiken was simply outstanding on her return from a major injury. She was influential from start to finish, leading the way with the composure and toughness that make her such an important player. Seeing athletes return to the field after serious injuries is always one of the great stories in sport. Just as inspiring was the return of some of the game's biggest names from maternity leave, including Shannon Martor, Millie Elliott, and Ivania Asako. To come back and compete at the elite level after having a baby is an extraordinary achievement. It speaks not only to their talent, but also to their resilience, commitment, and love of the game. Their return is helping redefine what's possible for female athletes, proving that motherhood in elite sport can coexist. Looking ahead, it'll be interesting over the next few rounds to see how the Sharks, Dogs, Dragons and Cowboys respond after round 1, and whether anyone from the chasing pack can begin to bridge the gap to the competition benchmarks, the Roosters and the Broncos. That's all from League for the Lounge this week. I'm Jo Barrett. I'll see you next round.
And this was Jo Barrett with her update on the NRLW season 2026. Let's take a moment to reset with another track from our new LOTL playlist. You can follow it on Spotify or SoundCloud or head over to lotl.com to listen. everybody, this is it for today. The first episode of LOTL Lounge. Thank you for spending this time with us here, for listening, for feeling, for being part of this little queer lesbian corner we are building here together. Before you go, I want you to have a sneak peek on what's coming up with our next episode in 2 weeks' time, because the next episode is going to be something special. We're diving into a story that's deeply personal, how cold ocean swimming became a lifeline for surviving some really dark mental health moments. It's raw, it's honest, and it's a reminder that healing doesn't always look like what we expect. We're also introducing our very first lesbian musician on the show. These women are fierce, talented, and unapologetically queer, and I cannot wait to share a couple of tracks from her new album with you. Plus, we're opening up a conversation about the relationships between lesbians and bisexual women, the history, the tension, the love, the stereotypes, and the truth. It's a conversation our community has been having for decades, and we're going to unpack it with care. And finally, we talk a lot about coming out. But next episode, we're exploring a different kind of coming out of prison. The women who walk out of these gates face hurdles most people never see. Stigma, housing, employment, rebuilding identity, reconnecting with community. Their stories deserve space, compassion, and visibility. And we're going to shine a light on them. So that's what's ahead. And if you got a little story, a message, or something you want to share, email us at podcast@lotl.com. I might read yours on air in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you back here in the lounge.
This is our space, this is our place. Thanks for the love and the time you embraced. The